Hello there. Shall we get started right away? After all, you bought this record to do yoga rather than to sit listening about it. It is a delightfully gentle yet powerfully beneficial form of exercising which will speak for itself, but I will pinpoint basic rules for you as we go along. Ideally, it would be great, of course, if you could exercise for the duration of 2 sides of this album, which is a carefully designed 40-minute program for the beginner. But rather than having you exercise not at all, even one side regularly practiced will rejuvenate you into the lithe, vital, and glowingly healthy individual you were born to be. We will start with a delightful warm-up exercise called the rock and rolls. A warm-up is always necessary with any form of exercising in order to avoid injury and strain. Sit on the carpet or a blanket folded in 4 and bring your heels quite close to your buttocks. Now clasp your hands under your knees and bring your head as close to the knees as you can. Gently rock back on your spine, bringing the feet back in an upward swing to give you momentum, and let the momentum carry you forward again in a gentle, easy, smooth, rocking motion. Remember to keep your head as close to the knees as possible and rock back and forth on the spine about 12 times or up to a minute. This is a fantastic energizer, limbers up the spine and strengthens abdominal muscles. Back and forth, smooth and easy, not too far back on the neck if you are a beginner. This is our warm-up exercise for today, and I would like you now to place yourself into a lying position on your mat. Completely relax, your hands by your side. We are now going to do a form of breathing exercise called the complete breath. Your most important food is oxygen. And as such, the breathing exercises are probably more important than even the exercises themselves. Place one hand on your stomach and inhale through your nose, pushing the abdomen out. This is very necessary because most people only use the top 1/5 of their lungs, and since the diaphragm, which is a dome-shaped muscle separating the abdominal cavity from the chest cavity, presses against the bottom of the lungs, we must flatten the diaphragm. This is done by pushing the abdomen out as you inhale and pulling the abdomen in as you exhale. I'd like you to take 5 seconds to fill your lungs like a coffee cup, the bottom first, then the middle, and then the top. And when you are inhaling in the top, pull your shoulders slightly up to help you. Let's begin right now. Breathe through your nose and inhale steadily and smoothly, pushing the abdomen out for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all we'll do for now. Exhale. That's good, pulling the tummy in. This time we're going to go further and fill the middle and the top as well. Let's start filling the bottom of the lungs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the middle. 2, 3. Now the top. 4, 5. For a total of 10 seconds. Hold your breath for 1 or 2 seconds and then exhale smoothly, pushing the abdomen in to bring all the stale air out of the bottom of the lungs. It is probably more important to exhale than it is to inhale. And in again, bringing the abdomen out, a smooth curve. Now the middle, and now the top. Pull the shoulders up a little bit. Hold your breath for 1 or 2 seconds, and then exhale smoothly, concentrating on contracting the muscles of the abdomen. That's good. And one more time. Tummy out, inhaling into the bottom of the lungs, now the middle and the top. If you can practice this form of breathing, I'll let you exhale now. Whenever you're out in the fresh air, when you're going shopping, as you're walking along, inhale for 4 steps, hold for 2, exhale for 4 steps. You will have drastically changed your life in the form of energy and general well-being. Probably the most important exercise in the yoga poses is the shoulder stand for the beginner. The headstand is considered even more important, but this is considered quite advanced, and you need not worry about it, even for a couple of years after first starting your revitalizing yoga practice. The shoulder stand is done lying on the floor to begin with. Place your hands by your side, with the thumbs almost under the buttocks, and spread your fingers apart. Now I'd like you to very slowly lift your legs. Take your time, taking about 10 seconds to lift them with the knees absolutely straight throughout and pushing the small of the back against the floor as you lift them. Now make little tents of your fingers by bringing the wrist up somewhat, the fingers are spread, and push the fingers against the floor, bringing up that inert mass that is called your bottom. Bring your hands up now and place them at the waist with the thumbs in front and the fingers at the back, letting them support your weight. Hold this pose for quite a while and concentrate on breathing normally. It's quite all right to breathe. Don't tense up and hold your breath. It doesn't matter here how straight you are. The important thing is that you are upside down and that the pull of gravity is reversed, which has a tremendously beneficial effect on your circulatory system, and richly oxygenated blood is coming into areas where it hardly ever gets normally, like the brain, the spine, and the pelvis. You may come down now, very slowly, bending your knees, bringing them towards the head, and bringing you on your downward journey. Don't collapse. You lose 1/3 of the value of your exercise. Let us assume now that as a beginner you were not able to get your bottom off the floor. Stretch your legs out, arms by your side, spread the fingers, make slight tents. Now slowly raise your legs again. Slowly keep those knees straight. Take about 10 seconds. Now push your hands against the floor and raise your bottom however far you can. Just an inch or 2, that's fine. Hold it there for a few seconds and then slowly relax. Keep your legs up. Take a couple of breaths and then repeat that again. Push your hands against the floor, raise those couple of inches, hold for as long as you can, and relax. Good. This will strengthen you in order to do the shoulder stand eventually. For the rest of us, let's repeat the shoulder stand once more. Raise your legs very slowly. This is a fantastic exercise for the abdominal muscles every time you do that. Push the tent-like hands against the floor, raise the bottom, and bring the arms up so that the hands are at the waist, against the hip bone, and your elbows are supporting you. The thumbs are in front. Now hold this pose, breathing normally. Try and relax as much as possible, and think of all those positive things that are happening to your body. The circulation is greatly improved to the legs, to the pelvic area where the hormone-producing glands are situated, to the spine, which means the central nervous system, and thereby insomnia, and to the brain, which will give you energy and a feeling of alertness. Hold this pose for as long as you can. As a beginner, you might now get tired. Bend your knees, slowly come down, letting your hands support your weight, and just melt into that carpet and relax, holding the shoulder stand from 1 to 3 minutes. You may increase this time by 5 seconds, 10 seconds a week until you have worked up to 3 minutes. Some ladies like to put on a 5-minute facial while they're in the shoulder stand. You can also start making the time pass by doing ankle exercises. Rotate the ankles clockwise, anti-clockwise. Stretch the toes away as though you're being dangled by them from the ceiling, or point them towards the legs. This is the shoulder stand, and a marvelous revitalizer, energizer it is. And if you make it a part of your life, in regular exercising every day, as I do, you will surely note the difference within a week. To follow the shoulder stand, always, the fish is practically a must, since it bends the neck in the opposite direction. Both the fish and the shoulder stand regulate the function of the thyroid gland, which is the weight regulator of the body. I'd like you to stay there on the floor, legs straight, arms by your side, and start pushing with your elbows against the floor, pushing the chest up and at the same time pulling the head under as far as it will go. Bring the chest up a little bit further. The head pulls under so that you're resting on the top of it. Now, keep your mouth shut and close your eyes if you like, and hold this pose for 5 to 15 seconds. Now, bring the head forward, bring the chest down, and relax. The fish is so called because if you do it in a lotus position, you can float in this position. It is particularly recommended for asthma sufferers since it straightens the thorax for easier breathing. You've rested enough now, let's do that again. Arms by your side, dig the elbows in, pressing them against the floor, raise the chest up, sticking it up into the air, and at the same time pulling the head under and trying to rest it on the top of the head. Keep your mouth closed, teeth together for a nice stretch and firming action on the chin. Hold 5 to 15 seconds and slowly come out of the pose. In yoga, slow movement is a must to avoid strain and injury, and it is the holding position which acts as though you were doing an exercise over and over again, and therefore you only have to do a pose 2 or 3 times rather than 20. The beginner will hold a pose for as long as is comfortable for him, or 5 seconds. The more advanced person might want to hold it 30 seconds up to a minute. The fish then works for asthma, weight control, has a very nice effect on expanding the chest and firming the bust line. And people who suffer from hemorrhoids or digestive problems find it helpful as well. Right now I'd like you to come up from your lying position into a sitting position as gracefully as you can. Always move with grace and poise in yoga. Sit fully on your pelvis, that is to say, not on your tailbone, with your legs straightened out. You might want to put your hands by your side, beside the buttocks, and lift yourself off the floor a little bit to make sure you're sitting right on your pelvis. Now, place your hands on your knees. Lift them up as you inhale. Bring them up over your head and lean slightly back. There, that's good for your tummy muscles. Now exhale and bend your body straight forward, bringing your arms down onto the legs wherever you can reach them. This may be the knee, the calf. For some of you that are flexible enough already, it may be the ankles or even the sole of the foot. Now, grasp whatever you can hold tightly. Bend the elbows outward, and letting your head hang limply, give a good forward stretch to the spine. Keep your knees straight. Hold. Don't forget to breathe. for about 5 to 15 seconds, depending on how long you can hold it. And come out of the pose, raising your arms up and back and relax. Good. Just relax now and enjoy the delightful stretch your spine has just received. In yoga, we never go beyond a point of comfort. We never compare ourselves to anyone, not your teacher, not your spouse, not your neighbor, only to yourself as you were yesterday. And since you practiced yesterday, you're bound to be a little bit better today. One more time, hands up, lean back slightly, and bend forward from the waist, bringing the arms straight down, grasping whatever you can manage to hold. Grasp that tightly, leave your knees straight, let your head hang limply, bend your elbows outward, and give a good forward rather than downward stretch to the spine. Yoga is progressive, and you will find to your delight that in this forward bending pose, you will be much further down next week than you were this week. And up you come. You may have come up already if you were uncomfortable earlier. And relax. Good. As our last exercise for this side, we will do a very excellent exercise for particularly elderly people, for the very much beginner, for those who are not flexible at all, because it gives a maximum of a twist to your spine with a minimum of effort. Lie on your back and with your hands out to the side, parallel to the shoulders. That's it. One straight line right across the shoulders from one fingertip to the other. And bend your knees and bring your knees up as close to your chest as you can, leaving the heels close to the buttocks. Now, let those knees fall to the side, the right side for now, as far as they will go, but do not push them to the floor if your shoulder lifts off. In other words, both shoulders must stay firmly anchored against the floor. If you have turned your knees to the right, then turn your head to the left, the opposite direction, and hold. Hold this for 5 to 15 seconds, then bring the knees up to the front again, and perhaps put the feet on the floor and relax for a moment. We have to, of course, do it to the other side. We shall do that now. Bring the knees as close to your chest as possible. Keep them there, and then let them both drop to the left side for now. But do not let them come completely to the floor if that means your shoulder will lift off. In other words, it's more important that your shoulder should remain on the floor than that the knees should be on the floor. Hold this pose, turning your head in the opposite direction. Breathe normally. Think of the delightful stretch your spine is receiving, a spiral action which it normally rarely gets, since you tend to turn your whole body. And the knees come forward, and lower your legs to the floor, stretching your knees out, and relax. There, that wasn't so bad. Refer to our picture in the album if you're not quite sure of my instructions. And once more, bring the knees up to the chest, tightly. Now let them fall to the right side. Keep them together if you can. Whether they're on the floor or not does not matter. Hold them in mid-air, keeping both shoulders on the floor. Turn the head in the opposite direction, don't forget. And hold. Now relax. And once more to the other side. The knees come to the side. Keep them closer to the chest. Get a good stretch. This is good for gas. It particularly tones the spine and reduces fat. Any twisting action is excellent for the waist. Digestion is improved, backaches, sprains in the lower back. It's a seemingly simple exercise, but oh, so effective. This might be enough of exercising for some of you. Those of you who are more ambitious, please now refer to Side 2 for a complete daily program. Each side of this record consists of about 20 minutes of exercising. 20 minutes is sufficient for the busy person. It is much better than not exercising at all. So for those of you who are making this a separate exercising session, the following exercise will act as a warm-up. It is gentle and yet very, very effective. For those of you who are continuing with the exercises, it is a marvelous waist and hip slimmer, relieves backache, slims the thigh and the leg, and relieves tension. It is called the triangle posture. And please stand up and join me in doing it now. Stand with your feet comfortably apart, 2 to 3 feet. Bring your arms out to the side, parallel to the floor. Now, point your feet out slightly to the side. I'd like you to keep your arms completely stiff and simply start leaning towards the right. The arms stay in a straight line. You're letting your body fall straight to the side, not forward. Don't stick your bottom out. Let your head hang limply. Bring your arm up so it's pointing straight at the ceiling and hold, breathing normally. 5 to 15 seconds is always the rule, but this is a pose that is quite exacting, and you will find that after a few seconds you've had a really good workout, or a warm-up, whichever you want to call it. Take a breather in the middle, and then start pivoting to the left. Your arms are straight out, they stay stiffly that way. Bend to the side, let your head hang limply. In this case, the right arm points straight up to the ceiling. And turn your head now and look up at the ceiling. There, see the difference? Whichever does more for you, you try it. Come up now, slowly, bringing your arms up, and let them fall down to the side. You might want to shrug your shoulders here. Those muscles that aren't used to working, that are lazy, will complain a little bit here now. But the nice thing in yoga is that there's not any muscular soreness. Ever, unless you push too hard beyond your endurance. This is the triangle posture. Let's do it again. Arms up on the side, parallel to the floor. Keep them that way and start bending directly to the side. This is a side bend, the delightful stretch. Your right hand will be somewhere near the knee, perhaps at the calf. You will be nowhere near the floor unless you stick your bottom out, which is wrong. Your head hangs limply. The left arm is pointing to the ceiling. Good. It's strenuous, so don't hold it too long. And hold it 1 second longer there. And the other side. Good. Look up to your arm that's stretched to the top. Up again. Good. Relax. Shake something. Relax something. The next pose is called a toe twist. It speaks for itself, and it is a balancing exercise. Balancing is very important. Like muscle tone, the balancing tone, if you like, can be lost, often have problems. Stand with your toes quite close together, maybe an inch or two. I'd like you to bring your hands out in front And at the same time, come up on your toes. Lock your thumbs and rivet your gaze on the back. Concentration is of the essence. Now start twisting to the right and leave your toes glued to the floor. In other words, do not swivel on the balls of the feet. The whole object is to twist the spine. Go as far as you can, and then slowly pivot to the front again. Come down on your heels. And up again. Let's do it in the opposite direction. The hands come up in front, lock the thumbs at the toes, and start twisting to the left this time. Move your toes. They are much more important than that you should twist very far. Turn your head. Keep your eyes glued on the back of the hands. Hold. And come slowly forward again. If you've lost your balance, please don't be embarrassed at yourself, giggle, or in any way get distracted. Simply get back to where you were and concentrate fiercely. And your exercise will be done twice as well than if you weren't concentrating. Now shake your toes, perhaps. Wiggle them. Good. This is the toe twist and should be done once more in each direction. Up on the toes, hands up, thumbs locked. Keep your eyes on the back of the hands. Twist to the right. Go as far as you can without swiveling and hold. This time, let's hold it for a little bit longer than last time. If you come down on your heels, simply come up on the toes again. How high up you are on your toes really doesn't matter. Even if you're just a millimeter off the floor as a beginner, that will do. Now come forward and without stopping, go over to the left, twist to the left, and the toe twist is particularly recommended to improve balance, which means, of course, grace and poise. It tones and limbers the spine, makes the legs shapely, and generally improves your posture. You may come down now and relax. Good. You've had a good workout here, so we'll let you rest a moment by letting you sit down as gracefully as possible, of course. See if you can do it without the use of your hands. Our next pose is a sitting one, and it is as close as you can come to the lotus position as a beginner. The lotus is quite advanced, and you needn't worry about not being able to do it. Please refer to the illustrations to see what I mean. The name is the perfect posture. Stretch your legs out. Bring them slightly apart. Knees straight. And bring the right sole of the foot against the left thigh, as close to the groin as possible. Get a hold of it and ease it. Of course, never force anything in yoga. Never jerk or bounce. The other leg is then bent and brought in front of the right leg. Now gently get a hold of the toe and try and lift the foot so that the two heels are on top of each other, slightly beside each other for comfort. Then snuggle the toes into the cleft created by the calf and the thigh, and there you are, perfect posture. Now let us assume that you were not able to get into this perfect posture, and if you didn't, then please don't feel badly. You will be in a majority rather than in a minority in this particular case. The important thing is that you sit in a comfortably cross-legged position with your spine straight. So simply bring your ankles in front of each other, and the two knees might stick up like craggy mountains. That's good. And hold it there and keep your spine absolutely straight. This is of the greatest importance. So this is the perfect posture, the closest thing in a way to the lotus, and very conducive to sitting for long periods of time, for relaxing the entire body, for stretching and toning the legs and the lower back. And of course, anytime you have your thighs apart, That position is beneficial to the bladder and urinary tracts. Let's practice this again, and this time switch legs. Bring your legs out in the front, massage your knees gently, or bang them quickly, one after the other, alternately against the floor. This time, bring your left sole of the foot against the right thigh, as close to the groin as possible, the heel touching. Now bend your right knee and bring the foot in front of the left leg. Get a hold of the toes with both hands and gently ease it onto the other heel, snuggling the toes between the calf and the thigh of what happens to be, in this case, the left leg. Let the knees fall to the sides. Sit up, straighten your spine, and bring the back of your wrists against the knees with the index finger and thumb tip touching. Now, lift your head and close your eyes. This eventually, of course, leads to meditation. As with many yoga poses, the perfect posture cannot be forced. Some people, usually they're called double-jointed, can assume it immediately. They simply have a wider scope of the hip joint. Don't worry if your knees stick up. As you progress in your practice, so will the progression of the knees lowering to the floor continue. While you are in this position, and if you aren't completely stiffened up in the knees by now, I would like you to assume a tremendously relaxing, smashing exercise called the neck rolls. If you are stiff, then bring your legs out to the front and simply do them this way. Make sure your spine is straight. Now, let your head drop forward, the chin on the breastbone, and simply let it hang there for a few seconds. That's all. Hold. Now lift it up, bring it to the front, and with your spine straight and shoulders back, let the head drop to the back. Let it hang there. Relax. Keep your mouth closed, possibly the teeth clenched, so that the lines in the neck and the double chin can be worked on. And hold. Come forward. Face straight forward. Now let your head drop to the side. Simply hang limply to the side. Your eyes can be closed in this pose. It's very relaxing. Hold. Feel the tug. Good. And forward. And to the other side. Let it hang limply. That's fine. The head comes forward again. And now the key word is limp, is loll, is ragdoll. I'd like you to let your head fall forward and then move it, rotate it on its base completely around the perimeter like a ragdoll. Very slowly move it to the right and all the way to the back. Make sure you do that. And around to the other side and forward. And then in the other direction. Now I want you to enjoy the movement, to relax. If you hear a funny crackling noise, then that means you should be doing lots of these neck rolls. Deep-seated tension is relieved here. Stiff neck and headache, insomnia, double chin. This is an exercise you can do any time and receive immediate benefits. The neck rolls. If you have a very weak neck, if you can't get your head very far back at all, then you may do this pose with your elbows on a table or lying on your tummy with your elbows on the floor. Do that now. The elbows are quite close together. The wrists are touching. Now, without moving the hands, turn your head to the left. That shifts the chin into the left hand, and the right hand is supporting the head near the ear. Give a gentle push against the chin with the left hand. If it's only a quarter of an inch, that quarter will make all the difference in releasing tension in your neck area. And then, of course, you repeat this on the other side. Bring your head forward. Don't move your hands at all, just your chin. It is now resting in the right palm with the left hand supporting the head near the ear. Give a little push, steady push, against the chin with the right hand. And forward. Excellent. What follows this pose is the cobra. The cobra is definitely one of the very basic poses in yoga, and it is fantastic for many reasons. Let's get started right away. You're lying on your tummy now. Stay there. Place your hands, palms down, straight down from the shoulders width apart. Now, I'd like you to put your face straight into the mat and take 3 seconds to lift your head and your head only, looking up at the ceiling. 1, 2, 3. Stop. Are you as far as you can go? Good. Now push slightly against the hands, and for the next 3 seconds, raise the shoulders and upper back. 4, 5, 6. Hold. Now, 3 more seconds to lift only the lower back, but keep the pelvic area on the floor so that there's a good arch in the spine. The elbows need not be straight. The head is looking straight up at the ceiling, and hold. Pinch your buttocks together and come down just as slowly as you went up. 8, 7, 6. Head stays up till the very last. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Put your hands by your side. Just melt into your mat and relax for a moment. In yoga, one works at one's own speed and one rests between exercises whenever needed. This gives me a chance to tell you that this pose stretches and realigns the vertebrae of the spinal column, and therefore, of course, is particularly beneficial for people with a slipped disc. There's a fantastic massage one vertebra gives to the other. The muscles of the abdomen and the back are strengthened. The buttocks are firmed and reduced. The whole nervous system is toned, and of course, digestion with the abdominal pressure is improved. Female disorders are corrected. And for anyone of any age, it is not such a difficult pose to do. How far up you can come is not important. Let's do it again, shall we? Refer to the photos in the album if you are unsure of your movements. Let's slowly move into the cobra now, taking your time up to 9 seconds, bringing the head up first and down last. Let's do it together. 1, the head. 2, 3, 4, the shoulders. 5, 6. Then the back. 8, 9. Hold. Keep the pelvic area, the pubic bone on the floor. Get a good arch in the back. The head is up. Keep the mouth firmly closed. Hold for 5 to 15. If you really advance to 30 seconds, then come down just as slowly as you went up. Concentrate on the massage the vertebrae are giving to each other. That's nice. That's lovely. Down slowly, the head up to the very last, and relax. Great. And now I suppose you would like to really relax and wished I would stop talking. All right, we'll do that in just a few moments. And one perfect way that you can relax and at the same time be recharged is for you to come up on your knees. Push your hands down, come up on your knees, and then seat the buttocks onto the heels. That's it, all the way down to the heels. Put your head on the floor. Bring your arms down by your side, palms up, and let go. Isn't that nice? Hold. This pose can be held for 10 minutes. It is called the curling leaf or the pose of a child because it is the pose assumed by the fetus in the mother's womb, and there's nothing more natural and relaxing than this pose. Some people I know, one of them a 70-year-old lady, uses this pose to start her day, or does it immediately she feels tired and in the need of a pickup, instead of a cup of coffee perhaps. Make sure that your bottom is resting on the heels and then let go. This concludes our 40-minute program. On the other two sides, sides 3 and 4, we will have another program, which will be a complete one. You can take each side on its own or combine side 1 and 2 and side 3 and 4. Alternate them on different days. Enjoy the stretching movements that are over 5,000 years old, and you will be completely revitalized. You'll know tomorrow that you've done them today by how well you feel. Hello again. Today we are concerned with an alternate program to the one we had yesterday. It is a good idea, since the exercises differ, to have these on alternate days and get the most benefit out of your yoga practice. However, each side, if you want to only practice for a short time. Hatha yoga, which is what we're doing here, is to improve and maintain your look youthful and poised and relaxed at all. Let's start here with chest expander. Photos for it and the other exercises are in the inside of the album and in my book, The ABC of Yoga. Stand with your feet slightly apart. Bring your arms forward, palms together. Now bring the arms behind the back in a wide circling motion, knifing the shoulder blades together and clasping the hands. Good. Push the pelvis forward. Let the head drop back. Steady push upwards on the arms. Now bend forward from the waist, keeping the arms straight. Go as far as you can. Hold it there. Keep your knees straight. Let your head drop limply and keep on pushing up on the hands as though you wanted to bring them over the head. No jerking or bouncing, however. Stay there, breathing normally. 5 to 10 seconds for the beginner, working up at 5 seconds a week to 30 seconds. That's good. Come up now, just as slowly as you went down. And relax. Shrug your shoulders, shake your legs. Sometimes the muscles complain when they have been inactive for years and years and are being jarred out of their complacent way of life. The chest expander is a fantastic sort of exercise to do. It's the favorite of my husband and should be taken like a pill. Anytime you feel really tense, immediately get up from your desk or wherever you are and get into the chest expander. Let's repeat that once more. Hands forward, palms together. Then bring the arms back in a wide swimming motion. Clasp the hands. Push the pelvis forward. The feet are slightly apart. Let your head drop back. Give a good steady push up on the arms. Bend forward from the waist. Slowly. Go as far as you can. And let the weight of your body pull you down. The head hangs limply and the knees are straight. The arms are pushing up in a steady motion. Hold. That's good. Just think of all the benefits you're deriving. This pose has another name for the ladies. It's called a bust builder. For the men, of course, it expands the chest. And up you come just as slowly as you went down. That's good. Shrug your shoulders now. The chest expander acts as a quick energizer. and it relaxes the whole body, improves the posture, and works on firming and reducing a tummy. For our breathing exercise for today, I would like to introduce you to the alternate nostril breath. Probably it is the most important breath in yoga. It has a very calming and soothing effect on the central nervous system and practically does away with insomnia. Sit in the perfect posture. We will briefly go over that. Bring your left sole of the foot against the right thigh, then bend the right knee and gently bring the foot in front of the other leg, lift it, and place the heels on top and beside each other with the toes tucked in to the cleft between the calf and thigh. Let the knees fall to the side. Any comfortable cross-legged position will do here if you cannot achieve the perfect posture. The important thing is that your spine is straight to facilitate breathing. Now, take your right hand and place the ring finger on the left nostril. Fine. There seems to be a bit of difficulty here sometimes. Make sure that your right hand is coming up and the ring finger is placed against the left nostril and closes it off. Now inhale to the count of 4 through your right nostril. Good. Take your thumb and close off the right nostril. Hold for a second or two. Then release the ring finger and exhale through the left nostril in smooth, steady outflow for as long as you can, pulling the abdominal muscles in to expel all the air. The same nostril inhales. Remember what we learned on the first side? The lungs are filled like a coffee cup, bottom first by pushing the abdomen out, then the middle, then the top. Now close off the nostril. Hold for a second or two, and then exhale through the right nostril for as long as you can, pulling the abdomen in to expel stale air. The same nostril inhales again to the count of 4. Fill the bottom by pushing the abdomen out, then the middle, then the top. Close off. Hold for a second or two. Now exhale through the left nostril to the count of 8. Which is twice as long as you inhaled, a smooth, steady outflow. The same nostril then inhales to the count of 4. Hold now for the count of 4. Then the right nostril exhales to the count of 8, pulling the abdomen in to expel the old and stale air. The same nostril inhales again to the count of 4. Tummy pushed out to fill the bottom, then the middle, then the top of the lungs. Hold to the count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Then left nostril now exhales to the count of 8. And then inhales to the count of 4. Hold 4, out 8, etc. So the ratio here is in 4, hold 4, out 8. And the nostril that exhaled last then inhales again in order to make it alternate breathing. The nostrils never work equally hard at the same time. And by regulating this flow, you are greatly benefiting the central nervous system. And you can relieve depression, anxiety, and just a general feeling of lack of energy by replenishing your body with freshly oxygenated and cell-repairing blood. The likelihood of infection is also decreased by strengthening the lungs this way. Now I would like you to lie on your back. The pose we're going to assume is called the plow. The plow is a relative of the shoulder stand. Normally it follows the shoulder stand, but it can also stand on its own. We're doing it today to alternate it with the shoulder stand. Place your hands by your side and very slowly raise your legs. If you have just had a baby, then bend your knees. Otherwise, this is a superb exercise for the abdomen. Now make little tents off your hands by spreading the fingers, bringing the wrists up slightly. Push your hands against the floor and in a smooth rather than an abrupt motion, raise the buttocks high. Now keep your knees straight and see if you can bring the toes towards the floor, touching the floor if possible. As a beginner, you are likely not to be able to do that. Don't bend your knees in order to get the toes closer to the floor. That's good. Hold it there for a few seconds. Try and relax. Breathe normally. Now slowly bend your knees. Use your hands to bring your trunk down slowly. No collapsing, please. If you tend to feel restricted here, slightly anxious about your chin digging into the jugular notch, then use a low stool behind your head and practice bringing the toes onto that stool for a while. This pose, like the shoulder stand, regulates the function of the thyroid gland, which means weight loss for the overweight and weight gain for the underweight. It firms the abdomen and limbers the spine. The hips and thighs get a good stretch. The circulation comes to the head, which means energy. Headaches might be relieved. And, of course, the nervous system benefits greatly. Let's repeat this. Arms by the side. Raise your legs very slowly. Try and take 10 seconds, pushing the small of the back against the floor. Keep your knees straight. Now, your tent-like hands push against the floor. Bring the bottom up. And the legs in a straight line are lifted over the head and lowered slowly towards the floor. If you are 2 feet off the floor, it really doesn't matter. It's a good beginning for you. You're getting every bit as much out of the pose as does a more advanced person by touching the floor, since going any further would only injure you. Hold it there for 10 to 30 seconds, breathing normally, thinking of all the benefits you can derive in this pose. Then bring the legs up, use your hands to support you on your way down, and gently lower the trunk. Don't bring your head up, that would cause a rolling action. Now, let your knees come down just as slowly as they went up. Straight, of course, and relax. Good, it feels good. This is the plow. Please refer to the photographs to guide you in how to do this pose. If you are elderly, then here is a pose that will benefit you without in any way hurting you. If you are young, then this will improve your posture and really tone and limber up your spine for you. The pose is called the camel. Come up on your knees in an upright position. That is to say, you are standing, as it were, on your knees. Place your hands onto your waist with the thumbs in front. Good. Now, push your pelvis forward. This is very important. Push your pelvis forward and let your head hang back. Now see if you can lean back with your head. The pelvis is still pushed forward. Let the hands drop and just hang there in midair. That's it. It might not be much of a bend, but a backward bend it is. Hold that, and then bend forward and come down into a curling leaf by lowering your buttocks onto your heels, bringing your head onto the floor in front of you and your arms by your side. This is particularly recommended for any form of spinal injuries. Backwards bends benefit the ladies just as much as the men. Come up again now. Let's repeat this. And this time maybe go a little bit further. First of all, push the pelvis forward. Your hands may be at your waist, or you can just let them hang if you wish. If you find you're quite comfortable this way, you might want to try putting your hands onto the soles of your feet. Hold it there. Otherwise, just hang in midair. For as long as you can, keep your mouth closed for better results on the chin, and then come slowly forward, sitting down into a curling leaf with your buttocks on your heels, the head on the floor, the arms by your side. It's ever so gentle, but it gives a feeling of energy and particularly benefits people with rounded shoulders and hunched backs. Any kind of a backward bend should be followed by a forward bend, and vice versa. And for this reason, I'd like you to stand up now. In our last lesson, we learned the forward bend sitting. Today, we will concentrate on the forward bend standing. Have your feet slightly apart, not very much at all. Oh, I'd say about half a foot. Now, I'd like you to raise your hands over your head with the arms beside the ears. If you have some sort of spinal problems, then I would like you to bend forward from the waist. If not, round your back slowly forward. Round it forward and simply hang in midair. Your head hangs limply, your arms hang limply. Whether they touch the floor or not is not of concern. Hang there for a while by your weight. Breathe normally. Keep your knees absolutely straight. This is much more important than going very far. Now, leave your arms by your ears and slowly come up again. If you are concerned about proper breathing with exercises, here is a simple rule. When you bend forward, exhale. When you bend backward, inhale. Let's do that again, this time with breathing. Right, and raise your hands slowly above your head. Bend forward from the waist in a curling motion, dropping your head first and then unfurling each vertebra until you can go no further. Let your head hang limply, your arms beside your ears. Let the body hang by its own weight for a few seconds. Then grasp your ankles, as you did in the forward bend sitting, around the back, or the calves, whichever you can comfortably reach, even the knees. Now bend your elbows and give a gentle downward and inward stretch. And try gently to get your head as close to the knees as possible. Stay there for a few seconds and then come up just as slowly as you went down with your arms beside your ears. Good. That's much better. Then repeat this twice more. We won't do this now. I'd like you to remember it for the next day. If you're ready, then grasp around the back of the legs. Bend your elbows and give a good forward and maybe inward stretch. Our last pose for the day is called the crossed knee bend and is particularly recommended for morning backache, stomach gas, and the sacroiliac region of your body. I'd like you to bring your right back of the knee across the front of the left knee. You're standing up, of course, and place the feet beside each other so that both legs are straight. The back of the right knee against the front of the left knee, and the toes are beside each other. Now, keep your body perfectly straightly aligned. Hold the pose this way, keep your shoulders back, and then come up on your toes and bend forward from the waist, bringing your hands to the floor in front. As you reach the floor, hold it there and let your abdomen relax. Now come up slowly and relax. Make sure that both your knees are straight. Let's do that again, this time with the other leg. Bring the left leg over the right leg so that the back of the left knee is against the front of the right knee. That's good. Both legs straight. Align your body so it is straight, not tilting to one side. Now, I'd like you to inhale, and as you inhale, come up on your toes and bend forward slowly, exhaling all the while. If you cannot reach the floor, a low stool might help you. Exhale completely and then let your abdomen relax. Stay there for a second or two and then come up inhaling. If you have properly exhaled and if you relax your abdomen properly, what will happen is that the abdomen gets sucked in completely towards the back of your spine since a vacuum has been created. You've crossed your knees. You inhale, keeping your body straight, shoulders back, bend forward from the waist, bringing your hands to the floor, exhaling all the while, and then relax your tummy. Hold the pose for a moment or two. Hopefully your tummy has been sucked in, and then straighten up, inhaling. That's the idea. This is a preparation for the abdominal lift and helps with elimination, and on itself is superb exercise. As you become more advanced, you will go into the abdominal lift. This concludes our yoga practice on this side. If you feel ambitious and want to get the most out of these beneficial yoga poses, then please turn to side 4 for a complete daily program. This is the second part of our daily yoga exercising program. It can either stand on its own or be combined with side 3. For a more beautiful, youthful, flexible, join me in the first exercise called and I would like you to now gracefully this pose stretch and in it. Now where your knees are at this moment. Now these, let them flop to the side and bring the soles of the feet together approximately in the spot where your knees were. Bend slightly forward and clasp your hands around the toes. Slowly bend forward, giving a gentle upward pull on the toes. Bend your elbows and stretch your spine, attempting to bring the forehead towards the heels. For some of you, this might seem like a lost cause. Please don't give up in despair. You'll be surprised how quickly you will be able to bring your head towards the heels only by practicing as far as you can go each day. Hold it there and then slowly come out of your pose, bringing the knees forward and perhaps massaging them or quickly alternately banging them against the floor. This pose is particularly effective for tension, for tightening and firming the thighs, for the hip joint, for relaxing the back, sacroiliac region, and anytime your legs are spread and you bend forward, you get a tightening effect on the lower pelvic area. Bring your soles of the feet together by bending the knees and letting them fall to the side and having the feet in a place where your knees were to begin with. Now clasp your hands around the toes again and give a gentle upward pull on them. Bend your elbows and stretch forward, attempting to bring the forehead as close to the heels as possible. Hold. Breathe normally for 5 to 10, 15 seconds. Then slowly straighten up. Bring the knees forward and relax. That's a tremendous firming effect in the back of the thighs for the ladies, and the prostate gland of the males benefits from any of these exercises. For bursitis and arthritis, our next pose, called the blade, is particularly effective. Please sit in a comfortably cross-legged position, perhaps the perfect pose we learned earlier, or on a straight-backed chair, or in any position in which your back is free and absolutely straight. For the blade, bring your elbows up on the side, the fingertips touching in front of your chest. That's good. Now, I'd like you to knife your shoulder blades together, rather as though you wanted to hold on to a $10 bill between them. Bring the elbows back in a straight line. Try and keep them up as much as possible at shoulder height, and knife the shoulder blades together. Hold. That's good. Few seconds, then bring it forward and relax. This is a fantastic exercise for tension in the dowager's hump, for expanding the chest. Bring your arms up at the side so that the fingertips are touching. The shoulder blades together, leaving at shoulder's height, if you possible, a little bit. Spine straight, and elbows forward, and shrug your shoulders. Same pose without moving the elbow. Again, bring the arms up. Now, without moving the fingers, do not move back blades together on their own. Form of exercising. And relax. Most effective for you. For the bow which follow, on your tummy on the mat. There, make yourself comfortable. Bend your knees and bring the heels as close to the buttocks. Now reach around with your hands, one at a time, and get a hold of the ankle nearest to the hand. The right hand grasps the right ankle, the left hand, the left ankle. If you cannot reach at all, then please take a scarf and wrap it around. Use that. Once you have gotten a hold of the ankle, I would like you to describe, and this is done by all the while, ankles away. This is a trick involved here to get your ankles push away from the hand, and you hold the pose and shallowly. Hold for 1 second longer, and then repeat. Sorry, do not and let go. Bring the hands by your side. This has such tremendous benefits that I recommend it highly as a tension abdominal massage, as a spine limber upper, so forth. Let's do that again. Bring the heels as close to the buttocks as possible. Reach your arms around and grab a hold of the end. Now, in order to get the knees up, holding on tightly all the while, push your ankles away from the hands. Bring the head up in front and teeter-totter on your abdomen, or simply balancing yourself there. Hold the position 5 to 10 seconds at first, increasing this time by 5 seconds a week, as in any yoga exercise, until you have worked up to about 30 seconds. Breathe normally, if rather shallowly, of necessity. Then slowly relax and rest for a while. Do this a total of 3 times altogether when you practice on your own. This of 3 exercises, and as such, is particularly recommended. If you suffer from excess weight in hips and buttocks, for instance, this is a pose that particularly helps with this problem. Don't collapse in a heap. In order to amuse you, and at the same time work at the wrinkles in your face, or in the case of a man, at the tension in his face, please come up now on your knees, resting your weight on the heels. We're going to do a pose called the lion. A lot of the benefit in yoga is derived by extreme concentration or visualization. And this is one case where I would like you to pretend something. I would like you to pretend to be a fierce, raging lion. Place your hands on your knees. Slide them down until the hands are supporting you on the floor. Spread the fingers apart and bend forward, raising your buttocks off the heels. You are in an attitude of crouching, ready to spring. Now open your eyes as wide as possible. Remember, you're a fierce lion. And stick your tongue out as far as it'll go. And hold. Hold for 15 long seconds. 5, 6, 7, 8. Tongue out as far as it'll go. 11, 12. Eyes wide open. 14, 15. Good. Now, sit back, relax, close your eyes, let the tension drain out of your face. It's amazing how much tension can accumulate there. This pose tightens and firms the face and gets rid of wrinkles in the neck, the throat area, the face. It also is beneficial for sore throat and gives you a nice voice. Let's repeat that again. You're sitting on your heels, kneeling really. Bend forward, placing the hands in front of your knees for support in a crouching, springing attitude. Open your eyes as wide as possible and then really stretch your tongue out. Try and have it touch the chin. That's good. Hold. Hold this pose, ridiculous as it may seem. It is a very relaxing pose and a very effective one. If you really want to work on your wrinkles, then do this 3 times in the day, morning, noon, and night, and see the glow in the complexion, the improved complexion, and wait for the compliments. Now sit back, relax, close your eyes. That's nice. For those of you who are so familiar with calisthenics and the up to 3 sort of movement, yoga might seem rather ineffective for you. If you are a man, for instance, or find yourself to be quite flexible, then I would like you to increase the holding time, and that immediately makes it a much more effective exercise and effective for the strongest of men. Here is what used to be taught in the army as a sit-up, the yoga way. Please lie on your back. The legs stretched out for now, arms by your side. Slowly bend the knees and draw the heels up slowly, just far enough so that the whole foot is on the floor. The moment the whole foot is flatly on the floor, stop. In other words, don't bring the feet up too close to the buttocks. Now, place your hands on the thighs. Slowly raise your head and the shoulders, at the same time sliding your hands toward the knees. Stop short just below the knees at about a 30-degree angle off the floor. In other words, there where it's work, where you're shaking, where the muscles in your abdomen are in a tight ridge. No further. Hold and slowly lower your body and relax. The whole object here is not to be comfortable, but to really make those abdominals work, because this particular exercise is probably the single best one for a flat tummy, for tightening of the buttocks as well. Let's repeat this. Your legs are stretched out. Now draw the heels up by bending your knees just far enough so that the whole foot is on the floor. Then place your hands on the thighs. Lift your head very slowly and the shoulders, sliding your hands down your legs till just below the kneecap. Your back will be at a 30-degree angle off the floor. Make it work. You should even be shaking a little bit. Hold it only for 3 seconds if you're quite the beginner. Hold it 20 to 30 seconds if you're a strong male. Breathe normally. Don't forget to breathe. Don't tighten and tense while holding your breath. Then slowly lower your back onto the floor, the knees to the floor, and relax. If you find that you're comfortable in the pose, that there's nothing to it, then you're doing it wrong. I want you to be aware of having to work just for a few seconds. For deep, deep muscular relaxation, for a proper ending to every yoga practice, for a relaxation that is complete, mental and physical, we are going to now practice a relaxation technique called the sponge. In it, you lie on your back. I will tell you when to practice later on. At the moment, let's get going on relaxing the whole body bit by bit. Start out by pointing your toes away from your body. Stretch them tightly for a second or two and then relax them rather suddenly. Let's repeat this so that you have the idea. Stretch your toes away from your body, tightly squeeze, stretch for a second or two, and relax. Now, without moving the other part of the leg, bring your toes pointing them towards the body, stretch them towards the body, squeeze them for a second or two, and relax. Good. Now, squeeze the back of the knees against the floor. Just for a second or two, really contract the muscle. This will actually relax it. Let go. Let go suddenly whenever you do. Now, bring the legs apart slightly and, without moving the legs in any other way, point the toes towards each other and pull the heels under and up. And squeeze. Don't bend your knees. Just the heels under and up. Squeeze. Relax. Fine. Now pinch your buttocks together. Tighten them. That raises the pelvic area slightly. Hold. Incidentally, this is a superb exercise to do while you're on the phone. Instead of sitting, stand and contract the buttocks. Now the abdomen. Tighten the muscles. Squeeze, tighten, hold. Good. Relax. Fine. With your arms by your side, now bend your wrists, bringing the fingers toward the arm as you did with your feet. Do not bend anything else. Squeeze the fingers back and relax. Do the same thing by bending your elbows now, and then bending the wrists back towards the shoulders. Squeeze, hold, relax. Bring your arms out to the side. This is isometric. Make a tight fist, squeeze, and slowly raise the arms, just 30 degrees off the floor. Hold, squeezing all the time, and slowly lower again, resisting some invisible force. And squeeze the fists, relax. Now, knife your shoulder blades together under your body. Squeeze them together. Fine. Relax. Now arch your shoulders across your front, bringing the shoulders together. That's it. Relax. Squeeze the shoulders up beside your ears. Bring them up beside your ears and squeeze the head in between. Hold and relax. Now, in a very sad expression, bring down the corners of your mouth. Just squeeze down the corners of your mouth. Down, not to the side, looking very sad. And relax. Now bring the tip of your tongue to the back of the roof of your mouth. And hold. The back of the roof of your mouth. Squeeze. It brings out the tendons in your neck. Relax. Time now to pucker up. That's it. Relax. Squeeze at the nose, the eyes, and really look ugly. Squeeze. You've bitten into a sour lemon. Relax. Now with your mouth closed, smile and stretch your face in the other direction. Outward. Everything outward. Stretch. Relax. Good. Now, with your eyes open, raise your eyes and look under your eyebrows. Hold for 5 seconds. Bring them forward. Then look down your nose. Don't move your head. just your eyeballs. Hold. Now look to the right. Hold. Look to the left. And hold. This is a very simple eye exercise, incidentally, which is effective for tension and headaches anytime. You might try it on your own. Now, frown, bringing the scalp forward. And relax. Bring your head under against your shoulders without lifting off the chest. Simply squeeze the head under and against the shoulders. Squeeze. Good. Relax. And as a final relaxing gesture, press the back of the head against the floor. The very back, not the top, the back. And relax. Relax. Let go. Melt into your mat. Float along. Isn't it delicious? Don't read. Don't watch TV. Simply relax. Give yourself a beauty treatment of 10 minutes relaxation. Try and have pleasant thoughts while you're lying there. Don't think of worries. Picture something pleasant. A lovely painting, a piece of music, a lovely face. Try and keep your thoughts on this particular subject. If you're thinking of a lovely red apple, then you might think within that scope of how it grew, how it fell off the tree, how it was picked up, how it was taken to the store, how you bought it, how you brought it home, and how you finally ate it. But don't think of a pear. Simply keep your thoughts on the apple. This is a very, very minor step towards meditation. This comprises the end of our second yoga lesson. I would urge you to alternate the program with the one on side 1 and 2. And as a beginner, would like to remind you that it is not important how far you go, only that you go as far as you can and hold it there, and then come out of the pose as slowly as you went into it. Think positively. Think of all the benefits you're deriving. Concentrate. Rest. And move gracefully. For further information, refer to my book, The ABC of Yoga. I would like to talk to you again. In the meantime, keep fit.